Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Vries. I'm an evolutionary astrologer and a healer, and I do a lot of mediumship work and animal healing work, animal readings, and I'm also an artist. I thought today for my videos that I would let the universe speak about what topics they feel are important right now on the earth, what matters to the inner realms that we are not hearing or manifesting or discussing or showing the courage to express in the outer world. So I'm going to draw a card of what the topic will be and then speak on that topic. As we speak right now, the full moon is in Aries. It's a super moon, it's a harvest moon, it's a very powerful moon. I'm going to talk about it in another video. It's the first full moon we've had subsequent to the incredibly impactful eclipses that we went through in September. September for many was a very difficult month, very stressful, and everything just felt so accelerated, so magnified and exaggerated and violent. There was a lot of violence for the sign of Virgo. Most people think of the sign of Virgo as the perfectionist, as the person of detail, but there is also it's a feminine, mutable sign, so it can express many forms within its definition. And one of them is the wild, untamed virgin. So I felt that in September, the wild, untamed part of ourself was unleashed. And we saw a lot of extremities of expression and behavior in our world. But let's go back to the cards and let's ask these cards, these soul cards, what is it that the world right now would like us to focus on? The divine hierarchy that surround our earth. What would they like us to focus on right now? It's a very interesting card. This is the card. She's got her she or he have the eyes closed, and the main focus of the card is on the third eye. So I would say right now that the main message from the spirit realms is that we take enormous time for personal solitude, reflection, contemplation, review, self-purification, and not speak in a reactionary way to what we're seeing right now. And I also, when I'm giving readings, one of the main things I try to tell people when they pass on to me a story of their suffering or of what's going on in the world, and it's kind of everybody's repeating right now what's wrong in the world. Now, obviously we have to be aware of what is occurring outside of us as a reflection of what's going on inside of us, but also to be aware of what's going on in the outer world so we can speak our truth, speak from our heart, and also try to rectify as best we can in our personal environment, situations that we're confronting individually and globally and nationally. So one thing that I was talking to a client about the other day is we have deep within us a myriad of lives that we have lived. And we think those are what we call past lives. But in the spirit realm, there is no past or future. There's just now. So all the past lives, all the future lives, all the present lives are occurring concurrently. It's like a holographic universe, and within that, we can access, if we go inward, solutions to everything that we're seeing outward. Now, I first really accessed this realm when I had to face immense grief with the loss of mates or children. And I was sitting one day, meditating, contemplating. I mostly contemplate rather than meditate. So what that means is I take a topic or I take an occurrence that I've gone through, and I deeply contemplate the evolution of how that happened so that I can gain deeper understanding of not only my own motivations and actions, but that of others. So I was sitting and I was in a state of deep grief over the loss of one of my children. And a voice said to me inwardly, "Do you not realize that you have hundreds of lives where you overcame grief and restored yourself and renewed yourself and came back to your joy and came back to your optimism and your sense of clarity of the divine order of things?" So they said, "Why don't you ask to access that quality within your soul that you've already achieved, and draw that into your being and look at grief from a different perspective?" So I opened my heart and I did a deep prayer. Let me be the soul part of myself that was indomitable, optimistic, moving forward, but also freeing up whatever was seemingly attacking my heart and soul. And I felt this wave of energy come over me. I felt this self-empowerment. I felt the most incredible capacity to face anything. And I saw the grief from a different perspective. Because I've always been a freedom lover, I saw the grief and the loss as a liberation, that my children, that I'd seen them through, or my mate, to that moment of liberation, that I had been there. And I did home hospice with my children, so every amount of food, or every bathing of their bodies, or every experience of their suffering or non-suffering, or slow withdrawal from the body, I was privy to every bit of it. I slept by them. I was awake in a second if I heard them in any kind of bad situation. So what I'm trying to say from that is, I took it as, when I hear people now like say something like, "Oh, what a shame we lost Jane Goodall," or "What a shame Robert Redford died," or on and on and on. I don't see it that way. I see it that their time was complete right up to that second, and that we were graced to have them that long, no matter how short. In eternity's no time, it was a speck. And it was a contribution, it was a growth, it was an expression. So I took that toward my children, and I saw my children were in a state of leaving behind what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body, and in this glorious state of freedom and joy. And because the past, present, and future are existing at once, I was already with them. I'd already passed over and was with them as much as I was present here in this moment. My future experience of myself was already celebrating their reunion and my reunion with them. And I realized that when we go into a zone of no time and we experience the joy of reconciliation and broader clarity and broader perspective on death, because I think death is one of the most misconstrued experiences that we have. And obviously I feel there is no death, there's just a casting off of an outworn form. Now, if somebody's casting off an outworn form or their time here is finished, we may not understand why. They may be 5 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, but that's what they came for. That was the length of time they made the contract with their soul to be here. Sometimes people leave their form so that we can grow. So, for example, losing a child, you go through a tremendous reversal of perspective that everyone says, well, no, that's not the right order of things. It's always the right order of things. It's always perfection. The moment you'll see somebody linger, and you'll go, why don't you just let go? They go in the exact perfect moment. So I look at all of them, all of my three children, my stepson, my son, my daughter. I look at all of it as a great time that they are free, and that I can feel their presences and commune with them, but that they don't have to go through what we're going through on the earth right now. So that's kind of the same thing we could do with America right now when we're going through this trauma of what's going wrong and seeing the suffering on the streets and the injustice and all of that. We can, in the present, speak up from our heart of what we think is an atrocity, but at the same time, we can go into the future and pull the future into now and lift our vision to when this is done, when this is over, when the slate has been wiped clean and we're starting anew, not only as a country, but globally. So we can draw on the vision, the hope, the experience of the new paradigm shift. We can experience it right now, and we can live in that space, and we can emanate that light and that vibration of being, and in so doing, we lift everybody around us to that same level of awareness. So it's quite an extraordinary journey we're on right now, and I feel that those that are on the earth right now are very, very strong souls. we didn't come here for a picnic. Although it would be nice today to go on a picnic by the ocean, but came here knowing that we would face these times, we would face these challenges, and we would usher in this new generation of children, which I want to talk about in another video. So I'll leave it there, but think about it. I also want to mention that, say there's something dastardly you did in your past, we all have those. You can go back in time, which is occurring now, into that life or your own life, and rectify it and make peace with that person, or make peace with yourself. And you can heal it. You don't have to carry the burden of it. That can only happen through gentle, deep contemplation and life review, which is why I encourage everybody to do a life review now. It's far easier and less painful to do our life review while we're still in our body. So, something to think about, something to chew on, something to a self-proclaimed way of uplifting ourselves, and as we uplift ourselves, we uplift others. If you would like a reading with me, you can reach me at angelicmercy44@gmail.com. Thank you, and happy supermoon, full moon, harvest moon. We'll talk about that in another video. Thank you. God be with you. And may we all remember that we've come here to grow in divine mercy. Let's practice some of that mercy today, not only on others, but on ourselves. Thank you.